Hey, Lester.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks so much for joining us today. So today joining us from the Australian Catholic University is Lester D'Souza. Lester has over 12 years of working with data and analytics in the Australian higher education sector, and a few years before that in the corporate sector. Lester has a good perspective on how the concept of data and analytics has metamorphosized. Is that right, Lester? Did I say that right?
Metamorphosized.
There you go. That's a big word for my vocabulary, but there you go. You can tell me a little bit more about that into what it is today. He's currently the National Manager Business Intelligence at ACU and also the current chair of the Australasian Association of Institutional Researchers, Business Intelligence and Analytics. It's a special interest group where he convenes and hosts forum on the state of play of BI and analytics in the sector. So Lester, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks for having me, Reena. Looking forward to this one.
I'd love to get your perspective, Lester, on, sales as a function, as you know, has evolved tremendously in the last few years. Would love your expertise on what you've seen and how you've seen data evolve of the sales function in the last 2 years. And I mean, more so, I've seen a huge shift in the 6 months, but your expertise on, what you've been observing would be really, really valuable.
Sure. I mean, Reena, happy to talk to that. So obviously being in a university, our biggest sales target are our students.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also being an Australian university that has a certain reputation in the international market. We've got domestic students and we've got international students that we need to attract. But obviously our sales team, our marketing departments can't do much if they don't have the data to help them do it. Now, one of the biggest challenges that most organizations will have is access to their own data. That's a big one. It's a tough one. Some places do it really well. Some places claim to do it really well, but most places do a pretty okay job about it. If you're a large organization like a university, right, you've got different data sets sitting different places. You've got your student data, you've got your staff data, you've got your research data, you've got everything. And not all of it sits in one space ready to be easily accessed. And even once accessed, it has to be, put in a particular report or a format for someone to consume it. The biggest issue that most organizations will have, and if you tell me that you don't have this issue, then, please give me a job, I'll come work for you, is getting it all together. So over the last 4 years, at least in the university sector, a lot of universities have been getting this act together. They've been collating all their data into either data warehouses or data lakes, and then they've been working with the business and working with their salespeople to see what is the best way to give you this data for you to look at your. It's all about the insights now, and especially in the last 1 year due to the COVID pandemic, a lot of the people really need access to really good and true insights, because now we're talking about potentially making or losing a customer base based on the data that is given to you. So you've got to do your level best to ensure that one is the data that you put into your systems is good, because obviously bad data in is bad data out. So you've got to have a good depth of data, and you've got to have a good understanding of that data. If you don't have either of those two, you're going to set yourself up for something not very nice in the future. And that's something that we try to do here, is we try to ensure that, of course, being customer focused, we've got our data sitting in a backend, and then we have a very usable front end for someone to actually go in and get their data. One of the things that I like to tell my team all the time is, if you're building a report or a dashboard for someone, make it as simple, as intuitive as iOS is. Like, for example, even a 3-year-old child can use your iPhone, because it's that simple and easy to use. And that's essentially what I try and tell my team. Like AIM, we know other areas have achieved a user experience really well. people will only use the data if their experience is good to use it. What story the data tells is debatable. They may or may not like it. But if you can use a system effectively, you can then use the information in that system to help you do your job. And with any role, be it sales, be it anything else, if you've got the right data, you can make the right decisions.
Great. Thanks, Lester, for joining us this afternoon. Really
Glad to be here, Reena.